How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. So it's been about 4 weeks since I showed you guys setting up this Nano reef tank. As you can see, there's some big changes that went on. As a few days ago I introduced some corals. Everything seems to be doing well. So right now we're going through a breakthrough period. So what's happening is I'm getting some diatoms, lots of algae on the glass. So we're going to be doing some maintenance today, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. I'm mainly just going to be scraping the glass, siphoning out a little bit of detritus. I'm going to show you the corals that I've selected. It's just some beginner corals, just to test out the waters per se. But before we do a water change, I want to feed these corals. So since I'm doing a water change and I plan to feed, I want to feed before I do the water change. So if I'm going to dirty the water, I might as well do it before I change some of the old existing water. So let's jump into feeding the corals. So I just gave the corals a quick feeding. We're about to jump into the water change, but before I talk about the water change and show you how I performed the water change, I just want to talk to you quickly about what's went on with the aquarium in the past 4 weeks. Really not very much. So it's basically just sat, it's matured, it's went through its nitrogen cycle. Once I noticed that we were very close to being completely cycled, I started running my light. You can run your light from day one if you want to. However, during a cycle, you're not going to be able to have any snails and whatnot, so you're really going to start accumulating algae very quick, and you're not going to be able to have any way of controlling that algae until your cycle wraps up. So that's why I like to wait till the very end of the cycle to start introducing the light. My light is just running 8 hours a day. The AI Prime thankfully just ramps up and down. If you want, in a future video I could talk to you about my spectrum and the lighting colors that I chose, but really it's just a visual thing. I like my tanks a little bit on the bluer side, so I tend to run a lot more blues than whites. I also believe that blues do bring out more colors than the corals. White coloration may or may not provide you better growth. However, for my tanks, I like to run them quite blue. The biggest challenge so far for this aquarium is I have not gotten an auto top off yet, and because it's open top and it's such a small water volume, I'm getting a lot of evaporation. So it's making my salinity jump up and down a little bit. Luckily, the corals that I've chosen for this aquarium so far are pretty hardy. They don't seem to mind too much. However, in the future I will definitely probably put a auto top off. By auto top off, it's just a little pump and a little float valve that goes into the back of the aquarium and essentially just feeds fresh water into the aquarium when it needs it. So now we're going to clean up glass, we're going to siphon out some detritus, and we're going to put new water. So after a cycle, you definitely want to do a pretty hefty water change. You want to get out a lot of that gunk that accumulated during the cycle. So that's what we're going to do today. Water change is done, siphoned out the detritus, and Now for the next week or two, we're just going to let it kind of mature a little bit. Hopefully in the next video, I'll bring you guys to my local fish store. We'll pick out a fish for this Nano, and we're just going to keep developing this tank. We're going to add a couple more hardy corals. I'll give you guys a quick shot of the tank and how it's coming along. Keep in mind, this just got a water change, so some of the corals are probably a little bit upset. But maintenance is very little for saltwater, guys. In smaller tanks, like I said, the evaporation can be a little bit much, but there's options. You can get an auto top off, and that basically fixes everything. But saltwater is not as intimidating as it seems to be. You just got to make sure your salinity is on point. Once in a while, if you're doing a coral reef, you want to check your calcium, alkalinity, your magnesium, basic stuff. But in smaller systems, and especially if the corals are really hardy and they're not too demanding, all those supplements are going to be able to be kept up with your water changes. So definitely a good starter size. And if you guys have any other questions or would like to see anything regarding this tank, leave a comment down below, like the video, subscribe if you enjoyed, and until next time guys, get your sleeves wet.